Safety and the surface grinder. This module will cover the safety precautions that must be followed when setting up and operating the surface grinder. In most shops, it is standard procedure to always wear safety glasses, and the rule holds doubly true in the grinding room. Most grinding rooms are equipped with dust collecting systems, but there is still grinding dust and fine metal particles in the air. One rule that hardly seems necessary to repeat is never operate a machine without the proper safety guards in place. Time and again, someone gets in a hurry and starts to use a machine without a safety guard. The end result could be a trip to the hospital. Do not touch the wheel or workpiece as long as the wheel is still moving. Wait until it comes to a dead stop before checking the work or changing the setup. Store all new grinding wheels properly. A damaged wheel can be very dangerous. Never, repeat, never use a wheel that has been dropped on the floor. Inspect all new wheels both visually and by ringing before installing them on the surface grinder. A good wheel will produce a bell-like tone when tapped with a solid object. Always destroy old or damaged wheels before throwing them away. This will prevent someone else from possibly injuring themselves by using a bad wheel. Never enlarge the mounting hole on a wheel. And never force a wheel onto the spindle. If the wheel doesn't fit, get one that will. Check the maximum safe operating speed of the wheel. If the machine's maximum speed is higher, change wheels or change the spindle speed. Running a wheel faster than it is built for could cause it to explode under the centrifugal force of the spindle running at full speed. Make sure there is a blotter on both sides of the wheel before placing it on the spindle. Look at both of the blotters on the wheel. Often one side has a few important safety rules printed on the blotter itself. With this type of guide available, there is no excuse for mistakes. Always clean the washers, flanges, and nuts before placing them back on the spindle. Don't over-tighten the nut. Too much pressure causes damage to the wheel. As an added safeguard, place a piece of wood or scrap piece of metal on top of the magnetic chuck before starting the spindle. This is to protect the surface of the chuck should the grinding wheel fail. Stand out of the way of the wheel and then turn it on. This is another precaution to be taken in case the new wheel should explode from centrifugal force. When the wheel reaches full speed, allow it to run for at least 1 full minute. Remain standing out of the way during this time. Now for some rules to follow when grinding. Never use the side of the surface grinder wheel unless it is designed for that type of work. The majority of surface grinder wheels are face grinding wheels. When using the magnetic chuck to hold a workpiece, try to remove the work once the magnetic field of the chuck has been activated. Another good tip for setup work is to place a piece of paper under the work before putting it on the magnetic chuck. This is not necessarily a safety rule, but it will help protect the top surface of the chuck from nicks and scratches. Never grind material on the surface grinder that the wheel is not designed for. Again, this may not be a safety hazard, but it can cause the wheel to load up or glaze. Either condition will shorten the life of the wheel. Do not wipe the surface of the workpiece or the magnetic chuck with a rag or brush while the wheel is rotating. Wait until the wheel has stopped completely before checking the finish on the work. Turn off the coolant before turning off the spindle. This allows the coolant in the wheel to be spun out, avoiding an out-of-balance condition in the wheel. If the grinder begins making funny noises or operating erratically, shut it off and report it to your instructor or foreman. Following the rules of safe grinding room procedures will ensure the operator of a long and safe career in the machine tool industry.